Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So at the start of the season, right out of this new rune called Axiom Arcanist, which basically just buffs your ultimate. And people were pretty high on this rune to begin with because, it kind of makes sense that maybe on a champ like Aurora, where your ultimate is a big part of your kit, that making it deal more damage would be pretty useful. But what it kind of turned out is that for most champions, mana flow band was just better. Obviously, you're not using your ultimate that many times a game, and the total damage dealt from it was pretty low. I tried it on Aurora, and I think by the end of the game, it was around 700. And then when when you look at things like sudden impact or whatever, or electrocute, you're pushing like 2,000 on each one. So overall, it was just kind of weak. But one that people thought it was going to be really good on was Karma. Now, for most of the season, I guess most of the split so far, it was actually bugged with Karma's RQ to not work correctly. Now, in the previous patch, the one before the one that just came out, they did fix this, but not many people were really trying Karma. Recently, though, I've seen some people playing it in solo queues. The first one I saw was Chovy, and he played a game where he played Karma with, Malignance, Axiom Arcanist, everything. I'll just quickly show the runes. He played it, and he did 50,000 damage almost in 27 minutes. So that was like, okay, I definitely want to check out this game. So then I quickly checked, is anyone else playing this? And something I saw is that Showmaker played a game of Karma on almost the exact same time. I think it was basically 1 hour difference. Couple hours, and that could just be a coincidence, very possible, but it also could mean that people are practicing it in scrims. I've seen some LCK top laners playing it as well, which means potentially Karma is being practiced as a flex pick, and Karma obviously can be played support as well. So when Karma is OP, she's very high prior because she can be triple flexed. So yeah, Showmaker played a game of it. Doinby has been playing it. This was I believe this might be or it might be the day it got fixed, actually. I'm not totally sure, but definitely this game was since the fix, and also this is Cream here, who's played a couple games of it since it's been fixed as well. Basically, there's a lot of people giving it a try, and so I just wanted to quickly kind of talk about it because I didn't want to wait until the full next tier list video to really talk about it. So first off, these are the runes. You're going to run basically everything in order to make your ultimate stronger. So this is Axiom Arcanist. The icon hasn't updated on OBTG. You're going to take Ultimate Hunter, and you're basically just going to spam RQ every time with Malignance. Axiom Arcanist does affect RE as well. It affects the healing and shielding, so I believe it does affect your W also, but it definitely affects your E. The thing is, though, for the most part, you'll want to cast RQ, and that's because, the way Karma passive, I guess it's Karma passive works, is whenever you hit people with abilities, you get refund a little bit on your ulti. So if you can RQ multiple people, you have basically a lower cooldown on your R, whereas if you RE your team, doesn't reduce your cooldown at all. So you can use RE sometimes, right? You can use it to end a fight, or you can use it, I guess, to shield something like Carthasol, but ultimately you pretty much just want to be an RQ ball, which actually makes this build very easy. And also your items are very cheap, right? Like you can see Malignance, Horizon. Very important, by the way, that you play at least Dark Seal, but probably Medjai's with this build as well. Karma is very hard to kill and has a lot of AoE, so it's very, very valuable to play that. But anyway, I just wanted to quickly take a look at some of the VOD. I did take a quick look at the end of this. I don't know how well you guys can see this because it's very small, but at the end of the game here, Axiom Arcanist has done 2,921 damage, which is absolutely ridiculous for a minor rune. That is insanely, insanely high. So yeah, like I said, I thought we'd skip through some of this game and I kind of point out some of the keys to playing Karma if you guys do want to play it. You guys might be wondering, why isn't Karma mid played more? So Karma kind of needs to be overtuned in order to be played. And the reason is that I think Ori is kind of just a better version of Karma if Karma's numbers aren't overtuned. And the reason is that Ori scales a bit better while also providing not quite as good utility and maybe slightly weaker lane, but yeah, much better scaling and overall team fighting. That being said, Karma is one of these champs that can be triple flexed, which means the draft value is really nice. It is stronger early game, and when her numbers are overtuned like this, she can be pretty ridiculous. So in the laning phases, Karma, what you're mainly looking to do is try to just get push on the wave, because in order to really harass people, you kind of need to be able to hit past the wave. Alternatively, you can, whenever RQ is up, you can basically throw it out, it's almost impossible to avoid. But most of your damage is going to come from that RQ plus Comet proc plus Scorch, everything all adding up. So a lot of the time you will actually get prior early. Lulu is a little bit stronger than normal. Also, I just realized Chovy's laning against someone with the exact same name as him. That's pretty funny. But anyway, you are meant to be, for the most part, getting prior. You can see the RQ, you can easily bounce it off the creep wave. It's actually very hard to dodge, and that's going to allow you to win trades. Now, another thing you're going to look for is, similar to a champ like Annie, you're going to try and look for aggressive trades with your E. So you can walk forward and play for an auto with your E, or more likely, you can shield certain harass, dodge certain abilities, or once you get a little bit stronger, especially after first base, you'll actually just look to run forward past the creep wave, double your opponent, and then just guarantee the Q on them. them. It's very, very annoying if you're playing a champ that's somewhat weak early, because Karma can literally just walk past your creep wave and trade with you, which is very, very frustrating. So we can skim over like a little bit of this. I just want to kind of get to the point where we are looking to trade past the creep wave, just so I can show you guys. You can 2-point skew at level 3 if you think you're not like going to play any skirmishes or ganks. You know, like here he has an Ivern and he's pushing in a Lulu, so it's like there's very low chances ever a gank here, so we might as well just like have them more Q damage. But you can skill W at level 3, especially against melees. You'll want to skill W level 3. But yeah, against range, like you can normally just go for 2-point skew. One other thing that's very important for Karma is making sure that you don't fall behind in CS early, because if you stay like reasonably ahead on Karma, CSing is like fairly easy, but once you fall behind on Karma, CSing becomes very hard. So just make sure you're not like dropping too many waves or too much CS in the early game. As long as you're like reasonably farmed, you'll be able to kill waves kind of quickly. So let's kind of skim over all this. There's not too much here. He's just going to go for a reset. I'll put a link to this video in the VOD or in the description, by the way. So if you do want to come look at this yourself, you can. So it comes back on the map. Yeah, so at this point, this is when you can start to kind of like look to run forward with your E and then W people and follow up with your Q. So if you can just get past the wave, it's better to do that, right? But you can see here, you can just literally throw out your W and then you can just like run into melee range and get the Q. It's actually very hard for most champs, especially if they don't have a CC, in order to play against this. And even if they do have a CC, you can wait until they've used their cooldown, then you can punish. So this trade here, basically, the earlier you can do this, the better, but particularly after first base is when it really comes online. And you can see that Lulu, despite being a champ that's actually pretty strong stat-wise early, just can't really keep up. Like, Karma is just too strong. And Karma has always kind of been like this. It's even when Karma was not meta, I guess, like she was still a real pain in the lane phase. It was just that she got outscaled so hard, but you know, now that you're getting so much extra damage from Axiom Arcanist, it's looking pretty good. I guess another thing I'll mention, you know, while we're at it, is that the best... I think Karma is blindable, and you can play her with... Jesus. You can play her with basically anything, but she is better with other, like, carries on your team. So that can be either melee carries, you know, like Wukong's, Viego, Darius, I don't know, any top lane bruiser really, or it can be 80 carries, you know, it can be your Caitlyn's, Jinx, crit 80 carries especially, ones that really benefit from the buffs. I guess on-hit 80 carries too, you know, things like a Kog'Maw. You probably wouldn't want to play it with like a mage bot, you know, like I think the worst possible scenario would be you're playing something like Karma Evelynn mid-jungle and you've got like a Xerath 80 carry or something. That seems pretty trash, but I mean, honestly, it's workable. So yeah, let's just skim through. I just kind of want to, we'll go through a bit more in the laning phase and then I'll just show you guys the team fights. So it is tempting to want to just like spam move with this champ because you do get a lot of push. The thing is though, like Karma really wants to play with her jungler. So like for the most part, you just want to leverage the fact that you're like really strong 1v1 and force trades with your opponent. If your jungler is looking to make a play, you can group up with them, but don't like force roams. It is completely fine to just like come out of the early game like 0-0-0 with good farmers Karma. Ideally you do better, right? And you definitely want a 1v1 lead similar to something like Victor. But don't worry too much if nothing happens. It's really bad, like, if you fall behind, but, like, you know, again, if there's nothing really, if there's nothing too bad or there's nothing too big that happens, that is completely fine. Like, you're okay to just chill. I think you just shot him again. Yeah, wow, this champ's pretty broken. So let's just skim to the mid-game, because I just want to show you guys some of that. So you're going to complete your Malignance and your Sork Shoes. Once you're at this point, you are insanely strong. Like, you can kill just about anything. Your damage is going to be absurdly high. And so you want to take like as many fights as possible. Level 11 is another like pretty big spike for you. You can see the damage output is absolutely ridiculous. And pay attention here, by the way, pay attention to the ult cooldown. So see how it's 24? When she hits the Lulu, it immediately drops by 4 seconds. If you can hit multiple targets, it drops even lower. So like if you can RQ like an entire team fight or whatever, that does add up to like sometimes you can just like RQ back to back. So he died here, which is a little unfortunate, but honestly, that had nothing to do with Karma. It was just a little overextension. Let's try and just like, I want to look at some more of the skirmishes. And like I was saying at the very start, maybe you guys skipped it, but be very careful using RE unless like the fight is almost over, because you are going to get much lower refund, right? Like see here how he opens with RQ on this thresh. Like pay attention down here to the to the CD on this. So he RQs Thresh immediately, and the second part of Q also counts. So see how it goes down to 17, then it goes down to 12. So if you can hit that on multiple targets, you'll have your ult up like almost immediately. And that is what's going to make your team fighting like OP essentially. Like there he gets like another RQ off, and his team can obviously like follow up on this. For the second item, you know, he went Horizon. I think Horizon's pretty good. Like Horizon obviously gives ability haste and is very cheap, which is nice. You can get it very early, and like the damage amplification is quite nice. We'll just kind of skim through and look at like some of the later game team fights. I just want to show you guys some of the ridiculousness of the damage. But honestly, I think we've kind of figured out all the main stuff already. Let's take a look at this. And yeah, so Karma really excels at this as well, like controlling chokes before the fights begin. Like if you can, you don't need to land poke before the fight starts, but if you can, it goes a long way. And even on someone like a support, like it does matter, right? Like here the Thresh is chunked out and can't really play the team fight. And it's very easy for Karma just to come in and snipe people on the side. The RQs just over and over keep going out, and you can see again, I'm just paying attention to the cooldown in the bottom left, like it's almost up again, right? And you can see during all this time, I don't think he's cast a single RE or RQ. That might have been an RE just then. Actually, no, that was an RQ as well. So you pretty much never want to cast it. And a lot of the time when I've seen AP Karmas in the past, people do definitely overcast RE because it is, I mean, it's a very good ability, don't get me wrong. That's why it's like fine to use it at the end of the fight, but be very careful using it at the start because if you end up just like sitting there with like 20 seconds on R, it's very hard to hit regular Qs on Karma, right? Like it's very thin as opposed to the RQ is like extremely hard to dodge, right? So just be like a little careful of that because you can definitely end up being kind of low impact if you lose your R like that. So yeah, I think actually there really isn't a whole lot more I just wanted to show. Yeah, I mean, just quickly take a look at the end of this game. Basically, I just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown on how to play it, like what the important things are. Like I said, Medjai is very, very valuable on this champ. You have a lot of AoE, so it's like very, very easy for you to get it stacked up, and you're never going to die, which is nice. And especially on these two items, you're insanely strong. Karma is kind of getting carried by her base stats. You know, like being level 15 here is kind of important, but you should be able to do that, right? Like, again, if you're not dying often and you're consistently winning fights, that alone is going to overlevel you. Obviously, if you can take things on the side lane, that's good as well. See here how he gets like 2 RQs back to back. And also notice that like if you can get the W slow off or root, that'll keep them in your ult as well, which means you're going to get another refund. Super, super nice. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys did like this video, let me know. Basically, I just wanted to kind of give it, I don't even know what I'd call it, like some sort of like meta update or report, just because normally I don't talk about things that like get discovered or get changed during the patch. But yeah, there'll be a link to this VOD in the description below if you guys do want to come check it out. Otherwise, any questions, let me know. I'll probably try it out on my stream today if you want to check that out as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one.